me share with you how I feed my family of 6 for $5.
If you have never tasted pelmeni, which is Russian filled meat dumplings, you're in for a treat. If I can ask you just to try one recipe that I make, it would be this recipe for pelmeni. It is so inexpensive to make, and my kids beg me to make it again and again and again. I don't think they ever get tired of it. It is also just 3 ingredients: water, flour, and breakfast sausage. Now, if you don't want to use breakfast sausage, that's fine. Just use ground pork and add your own seasoning. I find that having breakfast sausage on hand just makes this recipe even easier to make. To make the dough, you just mix flour with ice cold water, mix it until the consistency comes together, and leave it for about 30 minutes covered for the dough to rest. You put the breakfast sausage in a Ziploc bag, kind of mash it together, and then just cut the tip of the bag, and this will be your piping bag. I bought this pelmeni mold many years ago online, but you can buy a smaller version of it online, and I will add a link to this recipe.
Pinch a generous amount of dough and start rolling it out. You will notice that at some point the dough won't roll out quite as easy. This is where I lift the dough off the mat, turn it around, put it down, and roll it out again. And I do that until my dough is big enough to cover my mold. Put the dough on top of your mold, and if it's a little bit short on some sides, just gently tug and stretch the dough by hand to cover all sides of your mold. Take a rolling pin and gently press on top of your dough. This will allow you to see the little shapes where to place your meat. So this part of the recipe is a little bit time consuming, and this is where I recruit my children to help. They gladly come to my rescue. Once you fill the whole form with meat, you want to set it aside, pinch more dough, and roll another sheet of dough out. Take the newly rolled out sheet of dough and cover your form with it. Take the rolling pin and press it really hard as you roll it back and forth. You want to press really hard because this will allow your raviolis to seal. You want to be able to see metal start peeking through your dough. Take out a baking sheet and put a parchment paper on top. Sprinkle a little bit with flour. Remove the dough from the edges of your mold, and now this is where the fun begins. Start poking your pelmeni out. This is probably the most satisfying, stress-relieving part of the recipe. The dough that has been removed from the edges of the mold, I added back to the bowl that has more dough laying in it. You will make a few more batches of pelmeni with it. Separate your dumplings out on the baking sheet and then place it in the freezer for at least 2 to 3 hours, or best overnight. Once your dumplings are frozen, you can put them in a Ziploc bag. I usually make a double batch for us, so I put some in the freezer and then make some right away. My children cannot wait for this meal. To cook it, bring a pot of water to a boil. Add pelmeni and let them cook for about 6 to 9 minutes. When pelmeni are ready, they will be floating on top of the water. You want to use a strainer ladle to scoop up pelmeni, leaving the water behind. Traditionally, pelmeni are eaten with butter and sour cream. You can add any kind of sauce you would like. My family loved this meal, and I hope your family will love it too. Don't forget to like and subscribe.